Hi. Official recaps here. Today I am going to explain the American action-adventure film called Oblivion. Before getting to the video, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like to support the channel. The year 2077 serves as the backdrop for the film's idea. An alien race known as the Scavengers intend to assault the planet in order to take its resources. They start by destroying the moon, which sets off a series of earthquakes and tsunamis on Earth. Scavengers attack humans as they are recovering from natural disasters, and a battle between the two species ensues. Humans use nuclear bombs to finally end the conflict. However, as a result, the majority of the Earth transforms into a radioactive wasteland, rendering it uninhabitable. The humans flee to Titan, one of Saturn's moons, in order to survive. Officials living on board the Tet, a sizable spacecraft in orbit around Earth, are in charge of organizing this evacuation. The hydro-rig generators have also been installed on the Earth by Tet. These generate seawater, which is then utilized to create fusion energy for Titan's inhabitants. A pair as the last two individuals on Earth. Jack Harper, the husband, and his wife Vika reside in a tower perched above the skies. They both manage the hydro-rig generators for the Tet. Jack works as Tech 49 and is responsible for maintaining the drones, which are used to locate and eliminate any remaining scavengers on Earth. As his coordinator, Vika typically remains inside the tower to watch over him. Jack awakens at the start of the film having dreamt of an unidentified woman. He's been experiencing recurrent dreams for a while. According to Jack's narration, their memories were deleted for the mission's secret, therefore they are unable to recall anything that occurred before the conflict. In 2 weeks, the couple's mission on Earth will come to an end, and they'll join the others on Titan, leaving the planet without any humans. After they finish their usual morning ritual, Jack departs to conduct his routine inspection of the drones that kill scavengers. He observes that the scavengers overnight have harmed 2 of them. Vika gets in touch with Sally, the Tet mission's director, in the meantime. Vika informs her of everything that occurs on Earth. Vika assists Jack by keeping an eye out for scavengers as Jack flies to the damaged drone and landings to repair it. Jack fixes the drone successfully despite having insufficient tools. When the drone scans Jack and determines that he poses no threat, it rapidly takes off. After looking for the second drone, Jack is upset to learn that the beacon has been lost from Vika. They have trouble locating the drone without the beacon, but a determined Jack hops on his bike to search for it. He travels through the plane landing strips that were formerly oceans before arriving at a sinkhole. Vika requests that Jack leave since the situation is too perilous once he finds the second drone inside. Jack, however, disregards her and fastens a rope to his bike in order to descend the hole. When Vika notices this, he asks Mission Control to send a backup to the area. At the bottom, Jack discovers the ruins of an old structure. He manages to reach the drone, but quickly discovers that the scavengers have created a trap for him. They drag him by his leg, but Jack fights back with his weapon. Finally, he is on the verge of death, but the backup drone comes just in time. All the scavengers are killed, and Jack is saved. Jack goes back to his house once things have calmed down. Vika receives a flowering weed that Jack has been nurturing as a present. She disposes of it, telling him that it might be toxic, much to his dismay. Jack admits that the scavengers were attempting to capture him today during dinner. Why they wouldn't want to kill him baffles him. Vika, however, ends the chat and entices him to the pool in a charming manner. A short while later, Jack joins her, and they close the night with a kiss. They experience a loud explosion the following morning when they awaken. Jack promptly boards his aircraft and flies over to the location of the explosion. One of the hydro rigs suffered a meltdown and was irreparably damaged. Sally informs Vika over the phone. Jack picks up an unusual radio transmission on his route to the scene from an unidentified source. He decides to investigate the source of the signal because it intrigues him. He arrives at the Empire State Building ruins, where he frequently visits in his recurrent dreams. Jack cuts a wire and destroys the signal because he believes the scavengers will find it useful. Then he does a parameter check and nearly enters the radiation zone, where they are not permitted to be. He visits a house in the middle of the woods that he discovered on one of his adventures before heading back home. He has decorated the house to make it feel like his and comes here anytime he is feeling bad. When Jack finally nods off, he has a dream about an unidentified girl at the Empire State Building. He eventually awakens to the sight of an unknown vessel falling from the sky and immediately boards his plane. Vika contacts him at the same moment to let him know where the ship is. Vika also makes contact with Sally, who advises them to disregard the vessel because they have already encountered many difficulties for the day. Vika requests Jack to go home after he obeys the command, but he dismisses her and flies to the disaster scene. He discovers that the capsule is a pre-war gadget there. Jack discovers human-filled hibernation pods and is perplexed. More surprisingly, he discovers that one of the women in the pod is the girl he frequently sees in his dreams. A drone shows up and begins firing the hibernation pod, scanning them as scavengers, before he has a chance to consider what is happening. While Jack manages to stop it from murdering the girl, it decimates every pod. Some nearby scavengers observe him as he transfers the girl to take her home. Vika is shocked to see Jack at the tower carrying the hibernation pod. The girl shouts out Jack's name before passing out as they hastily remove her from the pod. She briefly loses consciousness before regaining it and introducing herself as Julie. She doesn't reveal anything else about her mission or her crew after that. As the three of them eat, Jack tells Julie about the conflict that led to the evacuation of mankind from Earth. He claims that Julie must have spent more than 60 years in that pod, but the girl only laughs at the idea. Vika informs Jack that she wants Julie to leave later that evening. She desires to inform Mission Control of her existence and demand that they take her to Titan as well. However, Jack responds that it would be unwise to seek them for assistance because the drones dispatched by Mission Control tried to kill her. A scavenger from below the tower is watching them while they converse. Julie can then be seen peering out of a window toward the horizon. She requests Jack's help in getting her to her ship so she may get the flight recorder. She needs to know what happened to her crew before the disaster since she feels as though she is in a dream. Julie pushes, despite Jack's hesitation, and claim that the scavengers are out and about at night. They finally take off for the crash scene once more. At home, a distraught Vika is waiting for them. She is worried about her husband becoming close to another lady. Two more arrive at the location and pick up the recorder. However, the scavengers assault them and knock them unconscious before they can get back. When Vika views this on the cameras, she becomes alarmed. She receives a call from Sally the following morning asking for reports. Vika fabricates a reason for Jack's absence and fails to inform her about Julie. Jack and Julie are restrained and brought to the scavenger's lair in the meantime. Unexpectedly, a person seats down in front of Jack. Malcolm Beach is the person who introduces himself. He seems to know Jack. He inquires as to whether Jack remembers the events from his history, but Jack replies that his memories were erased for his own sake. Then Beach asks him whether he has ever seen a scavenger. Suddenly, the lights come on, and a number of people are seen standing on platforms. Jack is taken aback since he thought he and Vika were the only two people on Earth. The Mission Control has been lying to Jack, and Beach finally reveals to him that the scavengers they have been killing are actually humans. Jack proclaims the idea to be false since he finds it to be incomprehensible. After that, they tour Jack around the hideout and explain their purpose to him. They aim to eliminate the Tet, which is consuming the resources of the planet. They previously knocked down Julia's ship Odyssey for this reason. The Tet could have been destroyed by the bombs aboard the ship. Now that they have the explosives and a drone to plant them, Jack is the only one who knows how to operate the drone. So, they require his assistance. Jack, however, responds by claiming that the Tet is home to humans who he is unable to murder. If Jack doesn't comply, a furious sergeant threatens to kill Julia. At that moment, a drone flies up and searches the hideout's entrance for scavengers. When Jack exits through the second entrance, Beach instructs him to travel to the radiation zone to look for the solutions. He doesn't know what lies on the other side because Jack and Vika have always been instructed to stay outside of the radiation zone. Finally allowing Jack and Julia to leave, Beach takes out for the Empire State Building. Jack shares his dreams with her there, and to his amazement, Julia informs him she is his wife. They were given a task on a research flight to Titan before everything collapsed. 5 crew members were in hibernation pods while Vika and Jack were in control of the vessel. However, they found an extraterrestrial object in space before they got to Titan. Tet was that incongruous object. Jack starts to remember the time he and Julia were in love, but Julia has no memory of what happened subsequently. When they are about to kiss, Jack's jet, which has arrived to pick them up, interrupts them. Vika is devastated when she witnesses the two getting close on video. Vika refuses to let Jack and Julia inside the tower when they return. She informs Mission Control that Jack is unsuited for duty and reports Julia's situation. They are shocked when Mission Control orders a drone to murder them both because they are no longer needed. Vika is killed by the drone, but Jack is miraculously spared. The drones chase after him and Julia as they flee the tower. They engage in a fierce aerial fight, and their plane crashes into the radiation field. As Jack gathers himself, he notices a plane passing by. He is completely taken aback as another Jack emerges from the jet. They are both utterly stunned to see one another. The only distinction between the two is that the doppelganger's code number is Tech 52, while Jack's is Tech 49. In the ensuing fight, 49 easily defeats 52, but Julia is wounded as a result. Jack boards Tech 52's jet while he considers ways to save her. After that, he takes a flight to Tech 52's tower to see his wife Vika. He returns to Julia to save her after obtaining a healing tool from the tower. Jack finds it difficult to believe that his identical twin is actually living the same life as him behind the radiation zone. Then, he and Julia take a car to Jack's favored lake cottage. They meet Beach once more when they go back to the scavenger's lair the next day. TET is actually an advanced extraterrestrial technology that travels the galaxy stealing resources from planets, as Beach ultimately explains. Jack is ultimately welcomed back to the human side by him. Jack is currently working on the drone that will deliver the explosive to TET and detonate it. However, 3 other drones hit them before they can fire it. Beach's party engages the drones in combat, and the majority of its crew is slain. Finally, the drone they were intended to deploy is destroyed and Beach sustains serious injuries. Jack is now in charge of getting the explosive to the TET. He puts Julie in a hibernation pod because she insisted on go with him, and the two depart for TET. Jack is listening to the flight tape that was taken from Julie's spacecraft while he travels. He remembers what transpired on the ship before to their abduction as he listens to it. Jack arrives at the TET in the present, and the doors open to let him in. He enters and observes incubation pods where thousands of Jacks are being produced. He finally approaches the TET, a triangular object. When Jack opens the hibernating pot in front of it, Beach is found within. In order to avoid the TET's suspicion, he had left Julie in the lake home where she was secure and had brought Beach with him. Finally, he triggers the explosion and takes out the alien contraption, preserving both humans and the planet's resources. Jack and Beach, however, perish in the explosion. Now fast forward 3 years. Jack's daughter was born to Julia, and the two of them are still residing in the lake house. The crew of the Beach approaches them one day. Jack, Tech 52, was also brought over by the staff. He looks at Julia as the film comes to a close.
And I am home.
If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this.